I rebooted in combat mode when I woke up from anesthesia. This story didn't happen today. More like 14 years ago. Honestly feels like a fever dream now. Fever nightmare? Anyways, I was recently reminded of the time I lost my ever-loving mind. I got my wisdom teeth out when I was 18. It took an excessive amount of anesthesia to get me under. I've been called, affectionately mind you, a hummingbird on crack, in terms of both energy levels and metabolism. So I think it probably has something to do with that. At least that's what I've always chalked it up to. So how much anesthesia can a small teen girl possibly need? They had my mom sign some more forms, sent the certified registered nurse anesthetist home, called an actual anesthesiologist in, and I paid more money. Woo! When I woke up, it was clear to me that I had been a victim of bodily theft. They had stolen my teeth. At least, that's the closest I can guess as to what I might have been thinking. Apparently, I quickly and quietly pulled out all the gauze and packing out of my mouth, and then tried to sneak out, but I was caught. Let me tell you, I put up one hell of a fight. Remember that small dinosaur from Jurassic Park that flares his frills and sprays all that black gunk? At one point, I channeled that little guy spirit, and I spit blood into the face of an assistant, like in her eyes, and I think some of it got in her mouth. Eventually, my mother, a certified registered nurse anesthetist, ironically, got me into the car where I proceeded to shriek and wail that I was being kidnapped, and I tried to jump out of the car the whole way home. Well, sort of. She drove to an Olive Garden because I refused to go back to any house with her. So she just drove in circles around the parking lot until I passed out, and then went inside for a glass of wine. Well deserved, Ma. I don't do well with anesthesia, I guess. But back to that poor assistant. I felt so bad. I've never done anything like that before in my life. I had to submit a blood test, and then I took her flowers and a gift card. She had a black eye. Apparently, I also headbutted her. I just never came back, and I figured that it was the best gift I could give her. Also, I do not have red hair. I know they are known to have more adverse reactions to anesthesia than other people. Next story. I bought everyone a DNA kit and ruined Christmas. Earlier this year, Ancestry DNA had a sale on their kits. I thought it would be a great gift idea, so I bought 6 of them for Christmas presents. Today, my family got together to exchange presents for our Christmas Eve tradition. And I gave my mom, dad, brother, and 2 sisters each a kit. As soon as everyone opened their gift at the same time, my mom started freaking out. She told us how she didn't want us taking them because they had unsafe chemicals. We explained to her that there are actually no chemicals, but we could tell she was still flustered. Later, she started trying to convince us that only one of us kids need to take it since we will all have the same results, and to resell extra kits to save money. Fast forward. Our parents have been fighting upstairs for the past hour, and we are downstairs trying to figure out who has a different dad. Update. My sisters, brother, and I have not decided yet if we are going to take the test. No matter what the results are, we will still love each other, and our parents no matter what. Next update. I'm happy to say I didn't ruin Christmas, and it all actually turned out into a Christmas miracle. Turns out, my sister's father passed away shortly after she was born. A good friend of my mom's was able to help her through the darkest time in her life, and they went on to fall in love and create the rest of our family. Next story. I messed up by living in a dark bedroom for 6 years. The overhead fan in our bedroom uses one of those compact halogen light bulbs. 6 years ago, the bulb burned out and got really dim, just barely a glow. I bought a replacement bulb, but when I put that one in, it was also barely lighting up, so I realized the unit was bad. The fan still works great. It literally is the best fan I've ever had because it moves a ton of air and is really quiet. The fan had also been a gift when we moved into our house. The unit cost over $400, so I didn't really want to replace it, even though our bedroom doesn't get that much natural light, so it is pretty dark. So since then, over the years, my wife and I have had to make do with no overhead light. We open the windows during the day, and at night we use a combination of bedside lamps and the bedroom light. It's never really as good of lighting as an overhead lamp, so I keep some flashlights up there for when we are cleaning or looking for something, etc. After 6 years of living in the dark, this winter I just decided I would replace the damn thing. But before I did, I decided to try one last time with another light bulb, because however unlikely, it's possible both bulbs I had tried were bad. So I'm up there installing the new bulb, grab the remote, the fan has a remote, and as I'm turning the light on I realize, the goddamn thing is dimmable. For 6 effing years we lived with the inconvenience of no overhead light, and for the whole time it was just because the damn thing was set to dim. F me. Next story. I messed up by looking disgusted when my elementary school bully caught me in his video selfie. I went to visit my hometown to hang out with some old friends during a Super Bowl party. A lot of kids from when I was in school were there, including my bully from elementary school. He used to bully me relentlessly. My parents used to say it was his way of showing he liked me, but the bruises he left me taught me otherwise. So I did my best to avoid him at the party, even when he tried to chat me up. I was with my friends. We were just chatting and laughing about what we had been doing with our lives. Out of the corner of my eye, I turned and I saw my bully taking a video selfie. Instinctively, I stopped smiling, cringed, and turned away from him. I really did not like that guy. When the party was over and I was heading home, I got a text from my friend with a Facebook link. It was a video of my bully slowly panning across the party, smiling gleefully. When he caught my attention and I gave him a disgusted look before turning away, his smile vanished, and the screen flashed gray, slowed down, and depressing music played. The comments were just as you expect. It was mostly people telling him to keep his crown up and putting me down by calling me names, etc, etc. It was pretty humiliating. I reported the video to Facebook, but it's still up, and he keeps growing in views and comments. Next story. I messed up by wearing an inappropriate shirt to a family dinner. This happened a few Thanksgivings ago. I found this really awesome shirt thrift shopping that said, "Take me home and feed me." It's a black shirt, most of the letters are white, but some are a darker gray. What do I know about design? It's talking about food. I thought, oh, that's so perfect for a Thanksgiving dinner coming up. So I buy the shirt for this purpose. Fast forward a few days, and I'm celebrating Thanksgiving with all the extended family. It's evening. We've all had dinner, and the pies are starting to come out. My older brother pulls me into the kitchen for a quick word. Hey man, what's with the shirt? Interesting choice for a family dinner. I ask him what he's talking about. I thought it was a fun Thanksgiving shirt. It clearly references food. Realizing I don't know what's going on, he starts to laugh. He pulls in one of the older cousins similar in age to him. They both start laughing. Turns out the gray letters were the EED on feed. The shirt is designed so that from a distance, you guessed it, it just says, "Take me home and F me." You all, I wore that shirt all day. I wore that shirt for the family photos. I'm standing next to my sweet grandma with a shirt that says, "Take me home and F me." These photos will live forever on her Facebook. Next story. I got caught relieving myself by the Google Street View car. This happened last year, but I think enough time has passed that I can talk about it. Last year, I, 21 female, at the time 20, was driving a long way to visit my parents, as I hadn't visited them for nearly a year. I was pretty sick at the time with some kind of stomach bug, but I still decided to go. It's a pretty long trip, so I had planned to take a stop during the trip for food and a restroom. So there I was driving down a country road when I started to get the urge to use the restroom. But I ignored it for now, and I decided to stop when I found a convenient restroom. After driving for even longer, the urge was getting worse and worse and worse, until it was extremely bad. I pulled over to check my phone to see how far away the next rest stop was. I don't remember how far it was, but I know it was further than I thought I could make it. So instead of risking it trying to make it there, I instead decided to drop my pants and relieve myself at the side of the road like the very civilized person I am. So I got out, dropped my pants, popped a squat, and started doing my business. Without going into detail, I was there for quite a while, long enough that a car with Google branding drove past while I was there. That was maybe the worst moment of my life. Eventually, I finished up and I got back in my car and I headed back to my parents. When I got there, I told them about it, to which my mom shared my embarrassment, while my dad just laughed at me. I kept checking Google Maps for a while after to see if the images had gone up, but thankfully they hadn't, until after a few months. There they were. Images of me in a shameful stance on the side of the road. At least they blurred my face and my butt though. Next story. I messed up by slapping my wife's bum and joking on her birthday. I, 50-year-old male, have been married to my wife, 53 female, for 26 years. We have a strong and healthy marriage with 3 kids, and I am in love with this woman. At this point in our lives, we know each other's likes and dislikes. One aspect of our relationship is that I enjoy trying to make her laugh with cheesy pickup lines, dirty jokes, and embarrassing comments, usually about myself. These are things that I only share with her, and it's only in private. Normally, I am a quiet and stoic person in public. Recently on her birthday, after presents and birthday wishes, we were alone at home. I slapped her bum, which I do a lot, and I said, "Oh baby, let's get it on. I've never been with a chick as old as you." Of course, I was joking, but holy, she was not amused. I apologized and we worked through it, but she said I was a colossal a-hole for making that joke. I didn't think it was that bad, but I kept my mouth shut since I was in the wrong here. I now need to make up for this, so that her birthday ends on a positive note. Update. My wife and I worked through this issue quickly, and she wasn't really that upset about the joke. It turns out that right before my joke, she was thinking about her age and the changes to her body, specifically her hair. I don't think that I would shock anyone here when I say that my wife's hair color is not natural. She started going gray in her late 20s and has been regularly coloring it to hide it. She is self-conscious about this and is bothered how society sees men with gray hair as distinguished, but women with gray hair as old. Her words, not mine. Adding fuel to her internal fire is the fact that I have almost no gray hairs, only a few in my beard. Don't get me wrong, my wife is beautiful and it baffles me why she is concerned about her grays. But it's one of her insecurities, so I always try to reassure her. Well, the combination of her birthday, the insecurity of her gray hairs, and the slight resentment of my lack of grays had her primed for an argument. I joked about her age, then boom, it was on. As soon as she was done venting, she realized that she was being irrational and told me as such, which was awesome, because I'm not dumb enough to point that out to her. I'm making it sound like she's unstable and argument prone, but that's not true. 2 or 3 times a year, she'll do something like this, but it's just a coping mechanism that she has. I'm 100% okay with this, and it helps her. So in my opinion, it's good. It's like she is verbally massaging some anger out of her body. It offers her relief in the end, and I don't mind helping. On a positive note, she has decided to embrace her grays. She's deciding on how to transition, and I suggested getting a pixie cut. She had one when we were dating, and I think she looks great with it.